Perek Cheskas Habatim Daf Lamed Vav, sponsored the Refuah Shalema for Bava Basra. The Gemara mentioned earlier, a person would not have the audacity to harvest somebody else's dates. Similarly, he would not cut down his date palm. If the field's owner protests, the court evacuates him, an embarrassment not worth suffering. The Gemara states cases where 3 years does not establish a chazakah. Number one, outside a wild animal wall. One will sometimes indent the border of his property, plant outside for wild animals to keep from breaking into his field. One protests an occupant's normal use of his land to avoid the impression he sold it. Planting produce consumed by wild animals is senseless. Number two, consuming Orla produce. Since the landowner cannot benefit from Orla, he does not have to protest even if the squatter consumed only 1 year of Orla and the additional 2 permitted produce. Number 3, the occupant cut shachas. He harvested unripe grain, fit only for animals, not realizing its full profit. Only one afraid of being caught squatting would forego the additional benefit unless he is from Mechuzah. There, farmers owned herds in need of large quantities of animal feed. Number 4, barren or poor quality land. Land that produces the quantity seeded or less is not considered a benefit the owner must protest. Number 5, property occupied by members of the Reish Galusa's household or their property occupied by others. People were afraid to protest their illegal occupation. Therefore, they acquire only with a document. Similarly, lack of protest against those occupying their property does not constitute admission of purchase. They are not unable to retrieve their properties. On the contrary, they prefer squatters working their fields cost-free. The next discussion concerns establishing ownership of slaves. Generally, movable property does not require possession for 3 years. Regarding them, possession is 9/10 of the law. However, slaves and animals are exceptions. Since they move around, possession for less than 3 years is no proof of ownership unless, number 1, it is a slave infant in a crib. It is not assumed his mother forgot or abandoned him. Number 2, goats are always under supervision of the owners or their shepherds, especially in Nardoi, where there are Arab thieves. The Gemara explains the machlokas Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva whether one requires 14 or 18 months to establish a chazakah. The Gemara rejects plowing being the basis of their argument because one can plow in a day. The argument is whether fast-growing crops, such as barley or lentils, must reach full maturity, or does partial maturity used for animal fodder suffice? There are different opinions as to whether plowing establishes a chazakah. There are chachamim who hold it is a chazakah because a landowner would protest one readying a field to plant even without consuming its produce. Rav Acha holds even 2 out of the 3 years can be based on plowing. Those who disagree hold the landowner stands only to gain. Rav holds plowing is not a chazakah based on the opinion of the chachamim that require a full 3 years to establish a chazakah. Shmuel holds like the chachamim who require harvesting 3 types of trees each year. Not like Rabbi Yishmael in our Mishnah, 3 different trees in 1 year. If you're enjoying Daf and 5, please click on the link below, subscribe, and become a sponsor. Thank you.